Good morning. Okay. Where's my? Oh, shoot, hold on. Charts. We need charts. All righty. Okay. Start with SPX here today. I think this is going to be possibly a kind of a boring day. The markets digest yesterday's reversal, and this SPX has a big open interest at 3,900 on the puts and calls, which suggests it's going to gravitate back toward here wherever it goes. And so you've got plenty of resistance overhead and not a whole lot of support. But yesterday being the day in which prices, yesterday we talked about the fact that they were already going down the prior day and then they gap lower. And then, they came down to this level where buyers stepped up and, it rallied from there and then obviously continued to do it into the close. And so with this big open interest on both sides, it's likely to just keep prices here, even if they could go up into this area up here around 39.40-ish or so. They really shouldn't go down here. Right. So, yesterday's open should be a significant reference point. If prices pull back into there. Ideally, wherever they jiggle around here, it'll stay above the open within the candle body. So as far as SPX goes, ideally, if there's premium down here, which last I looked, it was at 38.50. There was some. Let's take a look here. 40 by 55. So it isn't a lot, but I think it's a pretty much a sure thing. Maybe wait until the market drops at some point. It retraces, and that might come up a bit. But things are in a kind of like in the middle of nowhere here. So if there was enough premium, I think it would be a good day for an iron condor. So up above there on the call side, 39.50. Yeah, you might even go like 39.6. Well, 39.60 is 40 by 50 cents. So 39.55. It's a little close. It's up. Well, not really bad. I'm up. There's plenty of resistance. So I think it's safe. So 39.55, 39.60. And so there isn't much by 38.50, but I think that is the safe area. And as far as trading back and forth, considering this open interest is so big at 3,900, I think whoever that goes down or up, eventually it'll work its way back into there. So in any event, we got a significant low in place based on yesterday's reversal. There's pretty much nothing down below. Yesterday's reversal suggests it should not go down there, would not go down there today. And as always, we just see how it plays out. 1 second. All right. So you can see S&Ps are doing absolutely nothing here. They pulled back into the area, this little area of support there after getting close to this resistance. It looked like they were going to get there. Didn't happen. Now pulled back, and so starting to form a little trading range and in alignment with the idea of maybe they just kind of go nowhere. Well, not nowhere, but in a relatively tight range here today. Qs, obviously the weaker, continuing to stay weak. They broke the prior pivot low. And so I hopefully, I guess for today anyway, stays above here. It's got the void up above, so it makes sense that it would rally up into that or attempt to. We'll see how far it gets, but basically the reversal day and the way things came down, same story. Upside and downside is going to be limited. I don't know what would get things going, but that's what it looks like for the moment. IWM, which led the way up, and it's up here a little bit, but a big day, and came down to the pivot low gap down there, and it was pretty obvious type of situation where after falling like this and even extending past a measured move and then gapping down into a pivot, I mean, shorts are going to cover. And not that they had to have their jiggle before it happened, breaking the low of the day and then back up again, but now it's just overhead congestion up here. I think that probably puts a lid on the upside today, and the reversal, between here and wherever in here, I guess this pivot right there, well, where is a pivot around 212-ish, give or take, would be intraday support somewhere in here, and you got this resistance. So another chart to suggest not to expect any big measured trending moves. And IM is still up here a bit. Had a nice big reversal day again, spiked down, and other things started going up, and it sure looked like it was going to go lower. And as the other markets began to go up, who's going to keep selling when there's the possibility of this getting turned around? And it did. And now it's up at resistance, and it's likely not going to go much higher here. If it does, you're going to be careful of whipsaws. And we'll see, if it pulls back, there's a pivot low at 3250, 32,500. Below there, there's really nothing. So again, this reversal, the size of this reversal, if it pulls back into here, even if it breaks 32,500, some level below, whether it's here, buyers should show up again. That's just what happens when you get this kind of reversal day. That buyers are going to step up again, but it ran so far. It's at resistance. I don't think it's going much further today anyway. So today could be a digestion day, which is another way of saying really not going much of anywhere. And so as we scanned different stocks, and there were tons of reversal days yesterday, one of the things I mentioned was, look, some of these things that I was saying to buy was like, okay, they're probably not going to do a whole heck of a lot. Maybe they could gap up because sometimes that's what happens, but share sizing them with stops below the low and then looking to add at some point, we're in there if it did run, but it's because things were moving up strongly at the end of the day. They typically don't go a whole lot further when they have end of day runs like that, especially with this congestion up above. So in any event, looking to add on pullbacks or consolidations, by this, no means should a reversal like this fail. Because if it does, everybody that's long, it starts hitting the bid and drives prices lower. And Q's still the weakest. They're doing nothing here. They're kind of fly in the ointment, whether they just hold their ground. Because if they don't, and we start seeing Apple and Google and Amazon and Facebook all falling out of bed, and who knows whatever else it takes down with it, and the weekly chart doesn't look so hot, it leads me to think, whatever the Dow looks good with that reversal day, and the S&Ps, how far are they going to get, with these other big stocks, underperforming or doing nothing? Well, they can underperform. That's what I'm saying. As long as this kind of sits here and does nothing, or moves up a little bit, doesn't tank, what has done well yesterday should be okay. And the Russell futures, they got room to come up into this area here. So just on a short-term basis, intraday trades, I think the Russell is the way to go. You want to trade the futures, or do you want to trade the leveraged ETF? They've got room up to this pivot. Bonds are down, which means interest rates poking up a little bit, but no really big deal. So this little sell setup here, you want to keep an eye on this and see if it gets out of hand to the downside, and the 10-year. So if the 10-year just moves slow and hangs around here, probably equities kind of brush it off, because now they're already up here. But if it starts to accelerate like this, or like it did here, well, then you got to watch the downside on equities, because that's just what's been happening. So, it's a time to keep an eye on interest rates, because the equity markets are sensitive to it. So if they move fast, odds are equities are going to go down. And then maybe they test that low of yesterday. I don't think it's going to be today, but it's what you want to keep an eye on going into next week. And there's the 10-year, rolling over. It's got this big support area, and it's at the top of it. It's got plenty down below, but that would push. If it did do that, that would push this up into that 2% area. All right. Oil, all right, just jiggling around here. Gold, still doing nothing. Just like slow grind back and forth. Silver, bottoming tail bar there yesterday. There's no real interest in gold or silver here. It's not going anywhere. And if you haven't noticed, the euro's been falling and the dollar's been going up. So it's kind of having effect oil and I guess to some extent gold, a bit of a disconnect there. And the transports had a marvelous day yesterday. So we talked about breaking this pivot, and now it's reversed back up again. And that's now going to become, a significant area for everywhere in equities. Yesterday's low that holds. And so now that we got that reversal day, same factory work. Can it stay in the middle of the range? And so there's resistance overhead pretty much everywhere, right, which we covered, and which leads back to, what I typed or put in for the theme of in YouTube, trading range day coming. So that's the bias going into today, unless something changes and we see some kind of spike up or down, but know your ranges. And, it's not likely to be a power trend day. Keep your, your bias in alignment with what is for the moment. And we'll see what happens as the day goes on. All yours, Dan.
All right, good morning. Yeah, when I got back yesterday looking at the charts, I was, shocked at the beautiful IWM.
Sorry, McGraw, I wasn't looking at the chat.
Well, you can answer now. I'm posting something. He's just saying he wants to sell puts on IWM and Qs for next week.
310 for Monday. I did it. That guy is like a big brain. He's kind of like Dan on steroids. So it's all interesting stuff. And if I listen to more of it, I think I could take his information and simplify it, which is what I do with everything. But I need to look a little more into his method. And but it was good. IWM put spreads for, did you give me any number? 295. Oh, Qs 300 for next week. Let me look. So IWM, you got a significant low. So somewhere down here, I think would be fine. You got a lot of open interest down in here and up in here. So that's another reason why I think today is going to flip flop. Besides the ranges, I think that's going to flip flop. And on the Qs, what did you say? 295. I'd sell them naked, 295. If it goes down there, we'd want to be a buyer if so yeah, I like that.
All right, cool. Yeah, I just posted IWM. I'll keep an eye on that for a good spread for next week. Yeah, it's a beautiful reversal.
3810. I think that's safe, sure.
All right, all our opens are fine. We had beautiful exits on our directional shorts yesterday. And we picked up a 1 DTE put spread on Boeing, and that had a beautiful close also. We'll even keep an eye on that to do another one for next week. Maybe just watch it today and then maybe Monday over today's high, but we'll play it by ear. Yeah, AMAT, a number of you asked me. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that to roll it for next week with spread. Visa here, Harold told me we stopped out yesterday, but had a nice profit. We sold a put spread when it was collapsing last week. But you can see momentum slowed and made a new low and went nowhere. So let's keep an eye on that to do another one for next week. XLP yesterday before I left, I was looking at sectors. And I mentioned this one holding up incredibly well. It was in the upper 80% of this WRB, and that took off into the close also. Boozy here. Boozy here, bearish gap down to the low of this. So maybe a 30-minute low, a day trade on that short. This thing, VIPs, I don't know what the heck happened. Maybe this is one of those little China scare things. So that, maybe it comes all the way down here to the 200. It's worth watching. I noticed Baidu was down. Yeah, something's hitting these China stocks. GSX is a China stock also. That's just a continuation breakdown. That's the facing here. And X 26.7. Oh, that's a big gap. Gapping too much for me. Nike was in the news yesterday, something about people complaining of their advertising or whatever. So now it's a bull island reversal. I'll keep an eye on that. McGraw, this would be a great 0 DTE trade. Maybe the 128s. Now, I think that's another kind of education, but look at that. And that's an M top monthly with a new high plus. That surely looks like a high for a long time. We'll watch these. It's in a power downtrend, but well, I take that back. That's a mess. LB. Nice, big, huge gap up. The gap's too big, but we'll come back to it. Wafu, the gap's too big. Gapping in these prior highs. Oh, did you all read that Robinhood is going to go public, which we knew. And I think that's why they've been trying to play nice for so long with the GME disaster. talking about GME, I noticed that was up today. Had a nice reversal yesterday. This thing holds value during the day. So let's also keep an eye on a 160 put spread. If there's any juice there, would be great. 0 DTE. These little shippers, with the Suez Canal shut down with that tanker being grounded. I saw an aerial picture of that in yesterday's Wall Street Journal. It was pretty interesting. You have to just Google that aerial view of Suez Canal right now. And 12, I think I read 12% of international commerce goes through there, and it's blocked. But the ship's at a 45 or 30-degree angle from side to side. So, well, yeah, when they say it's blocked, they aren't kidding. But that's why I'm looking at these. Here's a couple of shippers. So they say that shipping rates are now going to go up. I looked at the whole list, and these are my 3 favorite: Sting, STNG, November, Mike, buy setup, bullish engulfing, and Sierra Bravo. They're all worth watching. Yeah, that's a big ship. SAIC had earnings. Wow, that's getting whacked. Oh, capping under. I mean, think about that, folks. This entire March rally is now up in smoke. Well, wasn't that a movie? Was that a Cheech and Yeah, it was a Cheech and Chong movie. It's now up in smoke of pain. Wow, maybe if we get a reversal at 80, that'd be a good buy. It's only $4 more. Let's watch that thing. Let's see. PRGS. We see one print up here, but I don't trust it unless it's liquid. But these are a couple earnings stocks. OSS, no pattern. Boxel gapping up 308. No pattern yet, but maybe 30-minute high. Gapping down 11.25. It's a gap breakdown with no great pattern. Root here I posted. That's a long watch, gap breakout. And so for a gap trade, see, it's the gap's not too big. So this is a tier 1 gap setup. Yes, there's resistance here, but the multi-week base thing is bigger than that. So if this can take out a 30-minute high, then I like it. 30-minute high. Let's just let it prove itself for a while. OXM had earnings. This is a buy setup. Looks good. It's a buy setup that failed at the 20, and then it's reversing now at the next level. That looks good. OXM. I'll watch that. Again. No pattern, gapping down. It's too extended for me to short. I'm not interested in a long. Blank, no pattern, you're gone. Next. Gap into 241. Nothing to do now. Now, I don't want to start watching too much. SUP, SUP. We've been in this for a while, kind of dead money, but it had a nice close. So I moved the stop to yesterday's low, and you can add over the high. Boeing, we talked about. We're in a puts. Hey, look at Boeing pre-market. That looks fantastic for a day trade. Target somewhere in here. Nice W bottom. Look at that retest. That's whether this thing made a new low, higher low or higher low, it doesn't matter. It reversed in the area. When people say charts don't work. So Boeing, I like as a day trade. Fast was on our list. Yeah, look at Fast. Remember I mentioned yesterday morning? I didn't post it, but I said in the morning, because I left at 11, I said buy it over the day's high. Beautiful. Beautiful. I didn't see the close. A Dollar Tree, bullish consolidation after this downside shakeout. Target 114. So that looks good to watch. Let's see, YouTube. I had a couple questions here. I needed to get through my list. Jose, J&J, Dish, NWSA. It's a buy setup. Yeah, strong up trim. Buy setup. Yeah, so yeah, J&J. Wow, this thing trades really sloppy, but over today's Friday, over Wednesday's high is the entry. Dish, it's a sloppier buy setup because of the way it's coming down in a stair step fashion, but it's reversing here. So I'll put that on the list. EIX, home, ODP. That's just a garbage bottom fisher. EIX. That's a better 1, 2, 3. The target's not real big, but even if it goes to 62, 62.50, it's a 1, 2, 3. Humana, I posted yesterday, and FREQ. No, my Humana alarm just went off. Yeah, no, I posted Humana yesterday over Wednesday's high. So now it's gapping over it. So what's the rule? We wait 5-minute low. Maybe we buy it into the gap fill. But yeah, let me put that in a window. There. And FREQ. FREQ. That's just a total piece of garbage. It doesn't interest me. Larian, AVB. Yeah, it's made the turn. Yeah, 5-10 minute high. I like that. Start off as a day trade. Yeah, looks good. CFG for grimy. Ooh, no, not me. Look, that's a nasty wall of resistance right there. It was a nice reversal, so I'd sell a put spread or maybe day trade, but you do not have a void there. CXP. I think we can find better. There's no great pattern there.